All right, everyone, welcome. This is Vishawn, the Tough Mama, and we're here with the Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central. So I have to tell you a funny story though before I get started. So I have two dogs. If you've been on these before, you know I have two beautiful house dogs. You can kind of see the one. She's white. She's back there there's a little chair back there that's her chair that she sleeps on, and then the other one, oh, there she is. She's walking away. But the one that's walking away, that's Reba. So here's a funny story. So Reba, the one that's walking away, she does not like to come inside. And we live on this little acreage. And what's so funny about it is that today it's supposed to be a thunderstorm. So I was trying to get him in. The white Dixie, she comes running in, no problem, in the house. But Reba, she's way out at the other end of our field because we have 5 acres. And I see her just sitting there looking at me. And, you know, I'm saying, come on, Reba, you got to get in. It's going to rain. And she just looks at me, doesn't want to come in. All of a sudden, this big boom of thunder claps. I mean, it's just loud. And you have never seen a dog run so fast in your entire life. I mean, she just ran over to me because she's so afraid of thunder. And she's been curled over here by my leg ever since. And it's just so funny. I wish you could have seen it because I just laughed out loud to see her so scared, tail between her leg, running as fast as she can to get in the house. It was perfect timing. Anyhow, so with that said, let me see who's all out there this afternoon. All right. Hello, Brigitte. Hello, Gabriella. So good to see you ladies here. And it looks like we have one other viewer. If you are watching here today and you don't see your name pop up, go ahead and log in so that you can chat. You can say hello. You can ask questions down in the chat window below. And I think that's it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. If you can hear me too, go ahead and comment below so I know that I'm not just speaking muted. I've done that before. That was embarrassing. But yeah, if you could go ahead, let me know that you can hear me, you can see me, and that my internet is clear. That would be great. All right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead. I have put together a presentation today for you, and this is pretty cool. I'm going to be sharing with you the quickest ways to become a successful internet marketer. So we're going to just cut to the chase today because there's a lot of people out there who, you know, they want to be this internet marketer or an affiliate marketer online, or maybe direct selling marketer online, but they've never really been shown the right things to do, and they're chasing their tail. They're just not successful financially, and they don't know where to turn. So today I want you to clear out all the old stuff in your brain that's maybe preventing you from being successful. We're going to fill it with some good stuff, with some new stuff that should help you tremendously in being successful. So I saw my phone go off. I hope that you got, okay, thanks, Brigitte. Yes, Precious Puppers is for sure. So I just wanted to share with you that today's presentation, this kind of came from my own trial and error. When I first started, some of you know my story. I was a mom who was in corporate America. I have 2 little boys. They're in elementary and intermediate school right now, but this was almost 4 years ago. And I had worked this corporate job, and I was married at the time to a different person than I am now, my son's father. And he was staying home with the children while I worked because my corporate career required me to travel a lot. So I wasn't home. Maybe 2 weeks out of every month I was home. And so with that said, I was making really good money, or at least I thought so at the time. But you know, my children never saw me. And so what happened was I came home. I was on the time off. They gave us 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on. And I was home, and I got this call from my boss, and they said that they were going to have a meeting. And I kind of knew it was coming, but I was hoping that they would put me in a different position in the company. But as it turned out, there was mass layoffs in the industry that I was in, and I was one of the casualties of that. They kind of cut from the top, and I was one of the top people in the industry I was in, which is the internet marketing publishing industry for a newspaper house. Anyhow, the point being said, that same weekend, I mean, I'm okay with it now, but at the time, obviously, it was quite tragic. I was handed divorce papers from my first husband. So yeah, it was tough. And suddenly, and he left. And so here I was. I had 2 boys. He did not want custody of the boys. So I had 2 boys and a house and a stack of bills and no job. All right, talk about stress. And I went into a spiral. I just, didn't know really where to turn, but I knew I had to be there for my children. And so I knew that whatever career path I took next, it needed to be something where I could be home for my kids. So what I ended up doing was searching online, and I ran into some people that I had known in my travels who were doing internet entrepreneurship, and one of them connected me to an online business, and I got started with that, and I started following what he was doing. But the next thing you know, he actually changed horses, as we like to say. He ended up going to a different company just on his own, and so suddenly I had no mentor in the company I had just bought into. So I was on my own, and I literally was just trying to make ends meet and make everything work, and it just wasn't working how I expected. It wasn't until I ran into another mentor, and I'll go ahead and share her name. Her name is Rhonda Swan. Some of you might know her. She's called the Unstoppable Mama, and she and her husband and their beautiful daughter Hanalei traveled the world. Anyhow, I ended up running into them, and she started working with me and mentoring me and teaching me the right way to set up my business for success. And so from that whole journey, I have been working for myself now ever since 2013. And I'm happy to say that I'm here for my kids. My sons and I have a beautiful bond. And last year, it'll be a year in March, I have been married to my new husband, Ron, and we have a wonderful relationship, and he's home as well. He's retired. So together we have a lot of good times. So for those of you that are maybe going through struggles right now in your life and in your business, I hope that gives you a little bit of hope and inspiration for your future, because the truth is that if you believe that you can achieve something, you will. The only non-guarantee is how long it'll take. All right. I wish that I could say, poof, on this date, you will be wealthy and everything in your life will be beautiful. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But I can give you some tips, and that's what I'm going to do today, on how you can get there more quickly. And you don't chase your tail like I did in the beginning, because I didn't have a mentor, and I didn't really know what things I needed to do first in order to make my business successful. So sound good? All right. Let me see if you guys are still there before I flip my screen around. All right. Good. I'm so glad we had a good connection. Thanks, Gabriella. So I'm going to go ahead, flip my screen around so you can see what I got going on here. I'll make sure it's presenting to everybody. There we go. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. I like to put these presentations together because I feel like if you're just looking at me all the time, you're not getting the visual. And I'm a teacher. I do martial arts and I teach that. And one of the things I've learned is that people learn 3 different ways. You learn auditory, so hearing. You learn visually by seeing, and then you learn kinetically. You're stronger in one of those 3. And kinetically would be like moving physically. You have to do it in order to learn it. And you probably know right now which one you are. And so by doing these presentations and typing them up, not only are you hearing my voice, you're seeing my words, and then I also try to do demonstrations during these presentations. So kinetically, hopefully you're able to mimic those demonstrations so that you can learn it even more quickly. So now you know my secret. So as you become leaders in your own industry, I encourage you to try to use all 3 of those learning styles when you teach. All right, so let's keep going. The quickest ways to become a successful internet marketer. All right, so here's the overview, kind of what this stemmed from, is that I had a conversation with one of my mentees, one of the people that I personally mentor, and they wanted to know how they could get wealthy more quickly, that they were really struggling. And then, in asking them some questions, I found out that they really were doing some of the wrong things that were sabotaging their success. And that seems to be a trend. So many people, they come in to an online business with the idea that it's going to be just like a brick and mortar business or just like the corporate job that they had. So they bring that worldview into their new business, and it doesn't work for them. You really have to do a few things differently than you would in some of those other industries. And that's what we're going to get to today. All right, so here's the first quick way to help you. Choose less than 3 businesses to promote. And personally, I wouldn't go more than 1 or 2 if you're brand new to the internet industry. Okay, if you have some technical experience and know-how, then perhaps you could do 3. But here's what I find out is that some people do what I call chasing shiny balls or shiny objects. And what they're doing is every time they see somebody doing really well in a company, they immediately jump into that business as well, or they immediately buy their course, or they immediately go and they join some mastermind. And it's not to say those aren't good. There's so many of them that are good, but you also have to realize that the more you divide your focus, the harder it is to have success in anything. So I'm going to just go into a little more details here. Mistake number one is you're registering with too many different affiliate programs and trying to promote all of them, so everything. And what this does, it creates a overwhelm, a feeling of it's just too much, right? And there's a learning curve with each company. And then there's also a lack of focus because you don't know which one to focus on for the day, and that can be very frustrating. So my advice for you is stop chasing shiny objects. All you need in order to be successful is one good product to promote. Seriously, one good product with focused energy on that product. And then, here's the other thing. Try to understand what your market needs. So your market is, who you're targeting. Are you targeting gardeners? Are you targeting dog lovers like myself? Are you targeting martial artists? Are you targeting yogis, people who are interested in yoga? Whoever you're targeting, whoever your people are, look for products that align correctly with those passions. You can't fail that way. If you're just trying to promote something to get wealthy, stop it. Take a step back and think of it like a new person coming into your business. Is what you're promoting really something that you would buy? Like, do you find value in it, or are you just selling it because it's hopefully going to produce income for you? I'm a firm believer in only aligning yourself with companies because you really like the product or service, or you've really gotten value from it, or you really like the people that are in it. If those things align, then you can't go wrong in promoting it. But if they don't, if you always have that little voice in the back of your head saying, oh, I'm not sure if I would really buy this if I couldn't make money doing it, then you probably should stop promoting it and find something that aligns with you better. Okay? These are just tough mama words for you, but this is exactly what I had to hear when I first started out in my business. All right, let's go to number 2. So number 2 is use several traffic sources to promote your product. I think a lot of times, and I'm just going to be honest, when I first started, I guess I just didn't understand that I had to get my own traffic. I was under the idea that the company I signed up with was going to just pump traffic to my own links, and that if I had a website, people would just find it. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to find your own traffic no matter what business it is. And so, you have to understand that traffic, in other words, people that come to your link, people that come to your website, people that see your offer, is the key to success. But you can't put all of your money into one pot. So, a lot of people are like, well, I'll just buy a ton of solo ads, which is a fancy way of saying have somebody else market for you and send out links and stuff, and then you supposedly get traffic. And it does work if you know where to, which solo ad companies to use. But you can waste a lot of money if you haven't done your research and you haven't tested it first to make sure that traffic source is really going to work. So what I recommend to all of my personal students is to find one free way to consistently drive traffic. And by free, I mean something that it doesn't require you to buy the traffic, but it may require some time. Like social media is one of my favorite free ways to consistently drive traffic. Is what I often ask my own students is this question. I say, what do you like to do better? Do you like to take photos? Do you like to shoot videos? Or do you like to write? So videos, photos, or write. And whichever one of those three that you like the most, that's the method you should learn. So if you like to do photos, I would recommend Instagram or Pinterest. Okay, those two sites or social media sites are set up for people that love to shoot photos, especially Instagram. They love people that enjoy photography. So that's what I would focus on learning how to do so that you can drive traffic to your business. If you love video, then I would recommend that you learn YouTube and really master posting videos that attract traffic. It's hard to say that, attract traffic. So you want to find a way to do it. And there are some great courses out there. And in fact, I've been through several, and I love video. And so I do a lot of videos. I'm getting ready to really ramp it up here shortly. The other thing is, if you like to write, then what you should consider is writing great copy on your blogs. If you like to write, use your blog to drive traffic. And one of the best ways to do that is to write an ebook. It doesn't have to be long. An ebook, everybody thinks, oh man, you're writing a book. Online, an ebook could literally be 2 pages, and you could call it an ebook. Kind of funny. But so, if you're good at writing, write out your story or write out whatever helpful document that you want to do, and then share it. There are ways that you can learn to share it on different free sites, such as other social media sites. And there's a whole course on what's called search engine optimization, which is a free method to drive traffic to your blog. So, think about which of those 3 you like best, pick one, and master it. Okay? If you're not sure where to learn how to do it and to become a master at it, research it, Google it, find out who's the best at it, talk to people, talk to me. I'd be happy to share who I know in the industry that are masters at those different areas. So meanwhile, what you should do, because I said you need to use several different traffic sources, you should test at least 2 different paid strategies. Okay, so paid strategies would be sites that allow you to buy ads, such as Facebook ads. That's one of my favorite paid strategies. Google ads, like Google AdWords, that's been around a long time, but it still works. Bing ads, which is obviously a competitor to Google, but it works the same. YouTube recently launched ads I think it's been about a year now, where you can create videos and then you actually schedule those video ads through your Google Ads account. And then you can run these. I'm sure you've seen them. If you go to YouTube, most videos today, they have a little video that's like an ad, I think it's like 3 minutes, right before the actual video that you wanted to watch. So that's a great way to drive traffic. And then, of course, solo ads, which we talked earlier. This is a way to basically buy real estate from bigger marketers who already have a huge list, and they in turn will promote you for a fee, of course, to their list. So, these are just a few. What I would do is pick 2 of these that kind of pique your interest. There's one more I just thought of that I didn't put here, and it's becoming really popular, and that's shout outs. Shout outs are a way to have somebody who's an influencer, like on Instagram is a prime example, an influencer to do what's called a shout out, where they promote you. Usually have to pay anywhere from $100 per shout out, sometimes less, but it's a one-day deal where you provide them an ad, make sure you include a link, and then they basically say, hey, this is a really great product or person on Instagram. You might want to consider following them. And you can get a lot of traffic that way. All right. And then finally, I want to leave you with the words, always be testing. Don't just, call it good when I'm going to tell you my own personal thing. And that is, when I first started, I just thought, hey, if I get enough people to come to my site, there's no way I can fail. So I dropped about $3,000 on a solo ad provider that was recommended to me. And I know it seems like kind of insane. Some of you maybe spent more, but I spent $3,000, which seemed like a lot of money to me at the time, on solo ads. And it was like a 1-day run, and that they were going to run it, to like, I think it was 1,000 people were going to see my ad, and they ran it. And it may sound good, but at the time I wasn't really impressed. I got 8 new leads out of that $3,000. 8. Okay. And of those 8, 3 of them signed up for the test product. So 3 of them actually spent money. I think it was like $7 for the original test product or intro product, trial product. And then of those, none of them upgraded. So to me, it was like a total failure. I didn't receive what I thought I was going to get out of it. And so I was really depressed about it. And I said, I'll never do solo ads again. Well, you should never do that, number one. Don't drop a whole bunch of money into something until you really understand it. You need to test it. And in hindsight, what I should have done is bought a smaller spend and gone with 2 or 3 different solo ad providers and tested it to see which one produced better results. And then spend $2,000 to $3,000 on the one that produced the best results in order to get better results. So, you learn these things as you get more experienced, but I wanted to, share that with you because you may be in that same boat where you say, hey, I'm just going to buy a bunch of solo ads, or I'm going to, place a bunch of ads on Facebook or whatever. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be a very costly experience. And so that's why I recommend testing it with a small budget at first, and definitely find some people that are experts in that so they can guide you along the way. Okay, so feel free to reach out to me if you don't know who to contact, because I do have a very deep network of people that I know that are experts in all of these different areas. Okay, all right, let's go to number 3. So this is another one that can really help you be more successful, and that is to test, measure, and track your ad campaigns. So in the internet marketing field, we have these things called sales funnels, which is a fancy word for a link that takes you to an email page. And once they fill in their email or opt in, then it takes them to whatever content you want to provide them. Okay. These pages, often you will create many of them, or you may just create one. But the point is that if you don't know where you're having the most success, you're kind of spinning your wheels. So like, for instance, and this was before I was doing a good job of tracking, I was getting leads on a regular basis from somewhere, and I didn't know where. And I thought, man, if I could figure out where these leads were coming from, I could really ramp up and maybe do more of what I was doing that was producing success. But I didn't know where it was coming from because I was advertising on YouTube, I was advertising on Instagram and Twitter and all these different places, but I was using the same link on all of those different places. Raise your hand if you're doing the same thing, admit it. Yep, we've all been there. We use that same link because we don't know how to track it. I want to tell you there's an easy way to get around that. And actually there's multiple ways, but I found the easiest way ever, and I'll share that with you here in just a minute. You definitely want to know where your traffic is coming from. Like, for instance, this is going to kind of freak some of you out, but I have 52 Instagram accounts currently as we speak. I don't really intend to create any more. I think that's more than enough. I do have assistants that help manage those, so it's not like I'm sitting behind my phone all day. I have people that do it for me, but I have a tracker code for every single one of those accounts. So I know exactly which ones are performing well and which ones are kind of dead ends. Okay, before I had that, there would have been no way that I could have told which accounts were doing well. So on the ones that are doing well, we try to produce more accounts that are similar to that, so that I can have more success. So you need to know where your leads are coming from so you can scale up on your successes. And what's the biggest thing you should be tracking? You need to be tracking, at minimum, conversions. Okay, conversions are when somebody, not only do they enter their email in, and email is just a lead. A conversion is when they actually go to the next page. Like, I guess I should say this better. I need to back up. A conversion on your sales funnel, it's one thing to get traffic. So let's say you get so many visitors to your email page, but of those, let's say 100 people go to your email page, but of those 100 people, only 20 of them enter in their email and go to the next page. Those 20 people who entered in their email are conversions. Those are the ones that converted over into going to the next page. Okay, so that would be considered, you know, if 100 people came to your page, 20 entered their email, that would be a 20% conversion rate. Okay, so you have to know two numbers to get your conversion rate. So you need to know how many people came to your page. That's one number you need to know. Secondly, you need to know how many of those people entered in their email address. That's your conversions. Okay, and then the last part, the last number that's very helpful to know is of those people that entered in the email and went to the next page, which of them went ahead and bought something? Okay, did they click on the buy link? Those would be sales, right? Those are the good things. That's what we want. All right, so if you can get those three things, then you're going to know you're going to be very successful, because you can then start managing your accounts so that you can scale from there. So if you know, let me just back up again. If you know for a fact that every time somebody comes to your web page, that 50% of them are going to enter in their email address, because whatever it is you're offering is so good, right? That's your goal. You want to offer something really good so they enter in your email address. Well, if you know 50% are going to enter in their email address, and then of those 50%, that 10% are going to buy something from you, okay, now you have an idea as to how many people you need to drive to your front page in order to make so much money on the tail end, right? So you just start doing the math on that, and you can figure out approximately how many, how much traffic do you need to come to your front page in order to convert, in order to turn into sales. And that's where the magic happens, because you can really scale up from there, because you have a consistent formula that you know will work and produce results. Okay, so I promised you I would share with you my own tool that I use. This is my favorite tool, and I just started using it a few weeks ago, and I am so thankful that it was introduced to me, because what I had been doing, before I tell you about the tool, what I had been doing is I would create a different sales funnel for every single link that I promoted. So I have probably over 150 sales funnels for all of my different products and services. And you know, that's too many. Where if I had this tool, which I do now, I really only need one sales funnel, and I can use this tool in order to track where all of the leads are coming from and the conversions. Pretty cool, right? So here's the web address, and this one has I have an affiliate ID. I want to be transparent on that. If you use my affiliate ID, I believe they give you a 30-day trial for free. And it's very inexpensive. I think it's like $9 a month to use this, but it's called TrackMe. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy and show you what it is. Actually, I think I already had it up. Yeah, so yeah, with that link that I gave you, so it's, let me go back to here. It's TRCK. You know what I should just do? I should just copy it. There's an idea. Right here. I will paste this down below. There, I just put that in the chat window so you don't have to try to write it out. But basically, what it does, it allows you to create multiple links and trackers for any page that you want to promote. So there's actually a training, and if you decide you want to use this, let me know and I can get you some training on this. But it's super easy to use, and basically it allows you to use one page, so one opt-in page, and you can create multiple trackers that you would actually promote the tracker link when you go out and promote it on your different sites, rather than your regular link. And what that does is it's going to track where they came from. So you'll instantly be able to tell if they came from YouTube, did they come from Pinterest, did they come from Twitter? Where did these people come from who went through your sales funnel? And that is so powerful, because now you can say, oh my gosh, look at this. 90% of the people are coming from my YouTube channel. I really should probably post some more videos on YouTube so that I can be successful. So this is really the keys to the kingdom on how you grow your business, is by knowing exactly where people are coming from, what is successful, so you can scale up from there. So I'm not going to go through a demo today, but I can show you just my own account. So you can come in here and you can go to like the dashboard, and you can start creating different links. Like I click on the tracking wizard, and you can track 4 different things. I want to track hits to a link, and it just literally walks you through it step by step by step. What you give your own tracker a name, you can call it whatever you want. Tell it what what your sales funnel URL is, and you just keep going until eventually it spits out a link for you, and then you're going to use that link to promote across all of your sites. So it's a pretty slick little tool, and I'm so glad that I was introduced to it, because it definitely has made my business better. So I'm always liking to share things with others that help me as well. All right, so let me go to the next one, number 4. Okay, research product demand for whatever business that you're in. Okay, I spoke on this a little bit, but I wanted to go in a little more depth. And that is, if you try to sell a product that is in low demand, in other words, not very many people want to buy it, then the chances are that you are not going to get very many sales, no matter how hard you promote it. Okay, so what I recommend to people that are coming into any industry, no matter what your business is or what you're planning on promoting, is to conduct an online survey. They used to call this market research, but it's a way that you can get input from your visitors. So what I would suggest is that you post a little survey on Facebook, and you can use, there's a website out there called SurveyMonkey, surveymonkey.com, and you can create your own survey that way. Google also has a free version where if you go to drive.google.com, one of the options there is you can create a survey. So I would create one, ask a few questions about your product without giving your product away. You want to just ask a few questions and see if there's a demand for it. And you can post your survey or a link to it on Facebook, or you can email it out to people that you have on an email list, even your own personal email list, and just see who amongst your friends what they think about the product or service. And you can also post it on your own website or blog. And I would let it run, for a week or so, and see, how many people fill it out, and see if there's even a demand for your product. And if you find that everybody's like, man, that's really awesome, I would love to know more about that, then you might have something. But if you get people that reply back, I'm not really sure that this is a good fit, or I'm not really sure that I would ever want this, you might want to reconsider what products you're trying to promote. Okay, this right here could save you a lot of money. All right, if you can do research ahead of time before you ever join a new business, you will find that you'll have more success, you'll save money, and you also will find that it's a great way to get leads, because as you're sending out this survey, you may find some people that are like, man, I would really like to be a part of that. That is a really great product or service. Tell me more about it. And now you've got people that might want to go into it with you, so you know that it's a good and profitable opportunity. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Choose the right business. This kind of goes along with number 4, but when you remember this, when you promote a product, you also promote the person or the company who is behind the product. So try and choose wisely. All right? I think so often we get these blinders on when we're trying to make money on our own, especially if you have a huge why. You want to work from home, you want to be near your children, you want to be near your spouse, whatever it is that attracted you to having your own online business. You got to watch those blinders. You got to think about, is the product or service reputable? Is the person who invented this company, who created it, who runs the company, are they somebody that I would want to, sit down and have coffee with? If not, you may not want to join that business, because people will automatically associate you and your values to that person. It's kind of sad to say that, but it's the truth. So one of the things I recommend you do is, check online reviews for the company or product that you're planning on promoting, and also check the BBB, which is the Better Business Bureau. Their website is bbb.org. Check them out. Make sure that they don't have any bad strikes. It's sometimes they will have bad strikes. There's always going to be what I call haters. Some people come into business because they think that they're going to get rich quick, and so when they don't, after a few days, if they don't get rich, they immediately go and put negative reviews. So be cognizant of that, and think about, is the business that you're considering something that you really feel matches up to your own values? The other thing you can do is do a Google search for the head of the company to find out their reputation. So it's pretty easy to look up the company that you're interested in joining, or the affiliate products that they have, and look up that person, see what they're like, find out if there's a ton of bad reviews on them. Have they had another company prior to this one that went bankrupt? What's their story? Find out, so that you're not surprised when somebody who's curious about joining you, sends you a message and said, "Hey, are you aware that the head of your company is known for having Ponzi schemes online?" Because that would be kind of a not a good situation for you, right? So check these things out if you haven't already. And if you do find that you currently are in a business where you are wondering about things, then I recommend that you consider looking at other opportunities, because you don't want to get so far down the rabbit hole, as we call it, that it's too hard to get out. Let's get out before you become a leader in that company, so that you don't get associated in a negative way. Who you maintain company with will affect your reputation. It's kind of like in high school. Remember high school days? If you hung out with the bad kids, the kids that always got in trouble, even if you were not a bad kid, you probably were thought of as a bad kid. Somebody who's often getting in trouble or going to juvenile detention or whatever. So this is why you don't want to associate yourself with companies, businesses, or products that have a bad reputation. All right, number 6, have a plan on how you're going to help new users. So when somebody purchases your product or services, you should have a strategic plan for how you will integrate them into your community. How are you going to train them? What type of customer service will you be providing? Now, I realize that if you are joining as an affiliate of some company, that a lot of times the company itself has its own training material, and you definitely can use that, but have a plan in place as to how you will guide them through that material. Maybe it's as simple as you making a short tutorial video where you introduce yourself and say, hey, that you're their sponsor, and then you just show them, here are some of your first steps that you're going to want to do, and walk them through how to do that on your screen. There's a great little website called Screencast-O-Matic. Screencast-O-Matic. In fact, let me see if I can type that in for you. Let me go back to our chat window. Screencast-O-Matic.com, I believe is what it is. Anyhow, the Screencast-O-Matic tool, it's really slick. It'll allow you to record your screen. You can do up to 15 minutes free of charge. After that, if you want to do a longer recording, you can buy, I think it was like $19, like one-time fee. There's not even a monthly charge on it. $19 is what I paid to buy the professional version of Screencast-O-Matic. And it's a nice little program. You can record your screen. It'll record your face up in the corner at the same time, so that they can see you talking at the same time that they're watching your screen. It's really, really good. And I recommend creating some kind of a introduction video, tutorial. Doesn't have to be long, and train your customers on what you expect and what to do if they have trouble. Maybe you have a little document for them that says, here's the customer support number for the company if you ever have trouble. So think it through, and you'll find that people want to join you simply because you have a plan, and you're not just throwing them into the business. You're going to guide them as their mentor, as their sponsor, on what they need to do next. Pretty good, right? All right, this is the last one. And you knew this was coming. If you didn't know it was coming, you're in trouble. I'm kidding. So you need to hire a mentor or coach. Mentors or coaches are the biggest thing. This is hands down one of the quickest ways to succeed online. The industry, especially the online industry, moves at such a fast pace. And without a mentor who's already in the trenches and doing well, the learning curve is just far too steep. I mean, it really, the internet business it's crazy. It's like the Wild West at times because there's so many different avenues you can take. And unless you have a tour guide that can, show you the right path, you might get stuck in, a territory where you get shot at. So I'm just kidding. You aren't going to get shot, hopefully, in the internet business. But you don't want to get in an area where you lose your money, or you get a virus, or you get a bad reputation, or you don't make any money because you don't have the right tour guide, mentor, or coach to guide you along the way. And this will cause, if you don't have a mentor, you'll have overwhelm and possibly financial failure will happen. So this is why it's so important. I personally hire mentors. I've paid huge amounts of money for good mentors and training because I wanted to invest in myself and my education. And I knew that without the right mentors, that I wasn't going to achieve the level of success that I desired. So here's one other little tip when you're hiring a mentor or a coach: choose someone that is already a leader in the industry that you want to be in. And also, it's important to choose someone that resonates with your own personal values. For you, maybe you need a drill sergeant. I don't know. Maybe you need somebody that motivates you, or maybe you need somebody that it's more like a friend, somebody that you can talk to and you aren't afraid of getting your head bit off. You have to decide what mentor is right for you. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever watched that show, Biggest Loser. Any of you watch that reality TV show where they had people that wanted to lose a lot of weight? They came into the show, and there was two coaches. There was Bob and Jillian, right? And if you watch the show, Jillian is like the drill sergeant. Okay, so she would get like half of the people that came in. They would be kind of hers to work with, and she was like the drill sergeant, keeping them going constantly. She yelled a lot at them, but she got results that way. And a lot of people need that in order to get themselves going. And then there was Bob. Bob was very even keel. He rarely raised his voice. I think as far as I know, I think he only got really mad one time on that show, and I remember it distinctly because it was so out of character for him. I really liked the show because I thought it was inspiring to see what these people did. And so for me, I kind of lean more towards Bob because that's my personality. So you have to decide personally what's motivating to you, and what type of person can help you to be more successful in this business. All right. So that is it. So let me escape out of here. All right. I hope that you got some value out of these 7 tips on how to quickly gain success in your life and your business. And if there's questions, I'm going to check that now. Yeah, no, nothing yet. But if there's questions, go ahead and comment down below. This is the time I like to open things up for any questions or thoughts. I can tell you that nobody can stop you from having success. There's a couple things that I think a lot of new people struggle with. And number one is you sometimes, and I was this way too, you think, well, what's the secret? What's the magic thing that I need to do that nobody's telling me that I'm not doing, that if I knew it, I would have success? Okay. So if you're like that, if you think there's a secret, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I'm going to. Okay. There is no secret. If you want to call it a secret, the secret is it's hard work. It's staying dedicated. It's staying focused. And I guess most importantly, I guess the biggest secret is right here. It's your mindset. It's believing that you can do it and pushing through even when obstacles come in your way. Okay. The other thing that I hear a lot of people say is, why is so and so having success and I'm not? I'm doing the same things that they're doing. Why am I not having the level of success that they are? And I want to share something with you on that as well. So what a lot of people don't realize is you'll see like leaderboards in different affiliate opportunities. And when you look at those leaderboards, you might see somebody at the top and they've made, $1 million. And you're like, holy cow, I'm doing the same thing they are. How come they have $1 million and I don't? Well, what you don't see is how much money they spent to get that $1 million, right? So some people, and not all of them are like this, but some people, they spent $999,000 in order to get that $1 million, right? So really, their profit was $100,000, which maybe that's exactly what you want to be at, is $100,000. So but then again, you'd have to have pretty deep pockets or a funding source in order to spend that kind of money on traffic and leads and training and on and on and on. So don't ever compare yourself to somebody else's journey. Okay, everybody's on their own journey, their own path. You have to stay focused on your path. Be grateful for those people that are having success. Feel free to ask those people questions, because I'll tell you this right now, most every leader that I've ever spoken to, no matter what level of income they've earned, they've all been open to talking and sharing and questions. So they may be busier as they earn more income, more and more people demand their time, but look for opportunities to go to conferences where they're going to be, or join group team hangouts with them. Ask if you can sit in on some of their training courses. Some of them may cost money, but it's worth it if it's going to get you the information that you need in order to be successful. So I hope that those tips really help you. I know that I wish somebody would have sat down with me before I started my business and just done what I'm doing to you now. And so this is me speaking to my past self, trying to help those that are coming into the business as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end for today. And Bridget, Gabriella, thanks for being here live. For those of you that are watching the recording, I appreciate you too. I'm so glad that you are getting value out of this. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I'll see you next Monday on the Down and Dirty at 1:30. Take care. Bye.